it was an important day at the Pakistan Supreme Court. A three-member bench took up a much contested matter, elections in the Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. The hearing has concluded, but the court has decided not to release any conclusion immediately. We are yet to hear more from Islamabad. The bench was being headed by the Chief Justice himself, and that is a bone of contention as well. We'll get to that in just a bit. Justice Umair Ata Bandeyal took up the case himself, as well as PTI's petition challenging the Election Commission's order. The party's lawyer spoke to our Pakistan Bureau Chief. Listen in.
Now, if the court directs the government to give the finances and to give the personnel, the government will have to comply with that. Anything short of compliance will mean anarchy. It will mean that the government has stopped accepting the constitution, and if the government stops accepting the constitution, people will stop accepting the government.
Constitution is very clear. When assemblies are dissolved, elections have to be held in 90 days. So the federal government has just come up with a very funny excuses. They don't have 20 billion rupees. That comes to about $10 million. They say that they don't have personals to guard the polling stations. Both, as the Chief Justice came up in the observations, that the federal government is not really serious to hold elections, but this is a constitutional mandate and it has to be fulfilled.
The top electoral body had decided to postpone elections in Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The new date was set for the 8th of October. The political debate quickly spilled into the judicial boundaries. The PTI is a plaintiff in the case, while the State and Election Commission are among the defendants. And now, with the government unhappy with the hearing, there have been calls for a full court hearing, something that has already been rejected by the court. But even as the suo motu has been heard, the Attorney General is already preparing his case to prove that the ruling alliance does not trust the bench and will call for a full court bench again. The saga will not end here. In case this plea is not granted by the Chief Justice, the AG could leave the case and urge the ruling alliance to boycott the proceedings. Let's go straight across now to our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik. Anas, what more can you share with us at this point? What's the latest?
Well, it's been a week of marathon hearings at the Supreme Court of Pakistan, where I'm standing, and the courtroom number 1 was literally packed for a week. We saw high ups and lows, high dramas unfolding and unraveling at the Supreme Court of Pakistan. And today, a short while back, about an hour and a half back, the Supreme Court has finished off hearings after what it believes was the completion of the arguments by either of the parties with regards to the election date being postponed in provinces of KPK and Punjab. Now, there, tomorrow, the verdict is to be announced. The Defense Secretary is to submit a report tomorrow before the Supreme Court in a sealed envelope, and we're expecting the verdict to be announced. Now, what is also to be kept in mind, Molly, over here is the fact that this very bench of the Supreme Court was dissolved not once but twice. 2 judges out of the five-member bench that was initially formulated had excused themselves or recused themselves from being part of the bench. First being Justice Aminuddin Khan, who had penned down that verdict, which had challenged the legality of the formation of benches because the rule was not defined. And second was Justice Jamal Mandokhel, who had penned, who was one of the dissidents or one of the judges who had penned the dissent note in the initial 4:3 verdict. So we saw a lot of drama unfolding before the Supreme Court and a lot of critique from either of the parties, including to the point that even today the Chief Justice of Pakistan had at a point excused or refused the government lawyers to make their arguments, stating that there was a public statement that was available where the same lawyers party, the party of those lawyers, were said that they would be boycotting the proceedings. And then we saw some interventions from the government lawyers, some legal references. So as I said, it was a week of high drama at the Supreme Court, and now it remains to be seen whether and what the Supreme Court would be ruling tomorrow, whether it directs the military and the government to hold an election, it does not. Those are questions that will be answered in some hours from now, when tomorrow the court resumes and the court announces its verdict. Molly?
Right, and Anas, we will of course keep coming back to you as and when we have further updates on that front, leaving it there for the moment. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.